Hey guys, Nine Toe Nelson here. Another cold day, but we're not gonna let that get in the way, are we? Let's go for a ride. Nine Toe Nelson here again. Video number 3. Let's see if I've learned from many mistakes, and one of them I think was recording in the dark. Yeah, it turned out a little worse than I thought, and I've still got to work on getting some software that's going to allow me to do a little more editing for that purpose in post, but that will come, along with some other improvements. It's never ending. I will continue to work to meet my perceived level of good quality. Not perfection, good quality. And I apologize for the sniffles. Like I said, it is cold. Certainly not as cold as it was the other day on my second video. But, you know, what most riders would say is, you're crazy cold. Yeah, this is not your crazy cold. I have my electric gear on, my heated gear. I'm wearing it, but it is not on. Actually this morning when I was riding into work, I didn't realize that I had not plugged in the extension to my gloves, pants, and socks, and I felt just fine. My one hand, I was like, oh, that, not sure if that was working as well as it should, but it wasn't cold, it was just noticeably less warm. But like I said, it all worked out. So I am essentially at the same temperature now, and I haven't bothered to turn it on, not even my jacket. That may change. I'm about to get on the expressway, but we'll see. So I guess that might be a fair topic. Learning how to do this. As I've mentioned many times, this is a first for me. I've never considered doing this in a dedicated fashion. I did stop and think though of my history with motorcycling and video production. I actually started doing both not too far apart from each other back in my college days, and did a few video productions for a local cable channel. That's a flowery way of saying I recorded church sermons. But I was also in front of the camera a couple times for a friend's production. And all that was, again, a nice experience. Learn how to do some things, the ins and outs. Then I continued on to learn some video editing, take some courses in that. I actually considered pursuing that as a career for a while, but other things came into play. But I retained the basic knowledge. Tools have changed a bit. When I started, I was using videotape, going tape to tape, which was so much fun and time consuming. You think video editing now takes a while. Imagine having to wait for tapes to move. Yeah, with the technology that exists now, this is really very easy. Being in front of the camera is another story. I would say I'm comfortable with it, but I'm certainly not necessarily made for it. I can pull it off, and it'll come better in time. So we'll see. So what are my hopes and dreams with this? It's really primarily for fun. brush up on my skills, both in video production and motorcycling, as well as you know, public speaking, interacting with people, so on. I think I'm okay with that. But the idea of doing this is one that I'm really starting to enjoy. The time to put into this and the fun I get to have doing so, just out riding. I mean, come on, what more could you ask for? Go document something you really like to do and then share it with people. I don't know, that seems like a lot of trouble. No, that's actually a lot of fun. Time is the only battle, because you only get so much, but you gotta make do with what you got. All right, let's see if I can fix this balaclava. All right, here's hoping that helped, and I think it did. Okay, so time was what I was saying. That's the issue. Only so much of it in life, but at the same time, if you don't use it to the best of your advantage, then you're gonna miss out on a lot. Time management is very important in this process of doing things. So the process of creating these things, I would say, you know, the easiest part, obviously, get on the bike and ride. Then figure out your camera angles. What are you going to do? Then figure out where you're going to go for the purpose of that ride. Is it, hey, this is where I'm going anyway, or is it, hey, I'm going to make a special ride today? And I'll be doing all the above. So far, this is where I'm going, but I have some ideas, some plans for interesting locations, for interesting topics. And I'll also be doing some of my get lost rides where I just hop on the bike and head out in any random direction and keep being random until I find, oh, hey, it's probably time to turn around and go home. So you'll see those. You know, I think the topic of video production, we've covered it. I mean, short of committing to the channel, making a decision to do this, having the gear, and you know, I'm sure you've heard, if you're interested, from other YouTubers that, you know, it doesn't require much. It doesn't require a great deal of expensive equipment. You know, here's some things that I've just recently obtained. This GoPro Hero2, which is not brand new. And what you're listening to me on right now that I'm pointing at here is a GoPro Hero8 Black. Again, not brand new, considering the GoPro Hero 11 just came out. And I'm pleased with them. I also have a GoPro Hero 2, which I will be using in the future. It's just, right now the mount for the camera has a broken tab, and I'm waiting for a replacement to come through. And heck, my first video was shot on this, my iPhone, completely. Now, I guess it shows in hindsight, and that's something that I realized could be fixed in post. Post being, for those of you who are unfamiliar, the process of putting together the final product after the shoot. And in post, I could have corrected color, could have corrected sound. I didn't realize that it was presenting as poorly as it was because, again, of limitations with software and experience. But now I have the experience, I can utilize the software I have hopefully much better. We will see how that comes about. So again, the commitment, the equipment, it's the two biggest initial factors. The equipment is probably really one of your least, but you know, get together what you can. Like I said, you can do it on a single smartphone. You can do it with a single camera. I have an old handheld camcorder I'm going to be utilizing at some point as well, I'm sure. And as I said, there's tons of information out there, especially here on YouTube, that you can take advantage of. Lots of motovloggers or just vloggers, period, that have a lot of great information to share, a lot of good insight. You know, there are channels dedicated to that. Take advantage of it if that's what you want to do. I am. I mean, my play history on YouTube has changed dramatically since I started doing this. You know, I've always had a bunch of motorcycle videos and you know, moto-centric, being, you know, autos, motorcycles, anything with a motor. And now it's like how to motovlog, how to record, how to, you know, do this or do that through YouTube, with YouTube, for YouTube, by YouTube, blah blah blah. And it's amazing how much information I have gleaned. So now that I mentioned that part of it, post, kind of touched on that a bit. Post is where I think it, you know, it really comes about. If everything prior to post is 50%, then I would say post is 60. You know, the point is that there's a huge emphasis on its importance. You can fix things in post. You know, oh, that angle didn't turn out right, or that shot wasn't really centered in the frame. You can adjust those things. Oh, the color doesn't look that great. You can adjust those things. Oh, the sound's not as good as it could be. Too soft, too loud. Let's adjust the levels. Sure, those things can be done. And to the degree at which they can be done, it's actually very good. I've fixed some flubs a number of times already, and I know I will again. But again, the limitations of my software only allow for so much. There is software out there that will allow you to do a great deal more with you know, to the nth degree of what can be manipulated. Pretty much short of creating a talking head for you. But hell, you can even have an AI write you a script, which is obviously not post, but it is an example of how amazingly easy it can be when you have the proper equipment with respect to software. You're aware of the proper equipment with respect to software, and you can use it. You know, most software nowadays, for all the above, is so user-friendly. It doesn't take much. Again, just a dedication of figuring it out, utilizing it, applying it. And that's what I'm going to keep on doing. So hopefully all of these videos I am dying to make can really pop and grab your attention and bring you back. You know, so it can be as exciting for you as it is for me. And any day on a bike for me is an exciting time. So, you know, along those lines of my last comment, if you guys have any ideas for me, any suggestions, topics, questions, please post them in the comments. I do read them. I do my best to attend to them. I have to say I haven't received many at this point. Literally less than a handful through all of my videos, which is fine. But you know, I welcome more, as well as constructive criticism, because, like I say, I want to learn. And once I review those, you know, do my best to respond and apply. Okay, well, you know what? I think I'm going to be happy with this production today. I got my B-roll working. I hope the image stabilizer just did its duty well there, because I noticed that there's a lot of shake on that sucker. But we'll see. Okay, folks, well, I think we've put together a fair video today. I'm going to leave you guys with that. And I'm going to thank you again for stopping by and checking this out. I know a number of you are interested in some of my planned videos. One of my viewers in particular was questioning my moniker, 9-Toe Nelson, if that's a legit thing, and it is. And as I said before, I'll be discussing that in detail in the future, so that's one to look out for. And I got some pretty good ideas for how I'm going to put that together, speaking of post-production, so hopefully that will be fun. Okay, guys, I already said it once, and I'll say it for the last time. I'm going to go ahead and let you be. Thank you so much for stopping by. Feel free, please, to spread the word about my channel. Like and subscribe. Put up requests for notifications, and you'll know when my next videos come out. And as always, ride smart, ride safe, and have fun.